Hey everyone, Scott the Scottman, and we are here to do a drive video today. We are heading north on Highway 127. This is almost a deja vu for when I did a video going west on Highway 10 from Clare, Michigan, going all the way out to, I think it was all the way out to 131 out in Reed City. Which I think I did that last year when I was heading over to Ludington. But yeah, this video I'm going to be heading north, so I'm continuing my series on Highway 127 north, and I'm basically going to be finishing northbound 127 today because I'm going from Highway 10 here in Clare, Michigan, all the way up to where Highway 127 ends at I-75 south of Grayling. So it's like, might as well do this because I'm going up to Hardwick Pines today, up near Grayling. Normally this is not the way I go, but because I want to film this video, that's why I'm going this way today. So it's a little bit longer, but I want to film this video. So yeah, right now we're just to the north of Clare, Michigan. Like we just passed by the exit for Old 27, which that's where you got a bunch of fast food restaurants and gas stations before you get into downtown Clare. And then over to the left, that's a Michigan Welcome Center they have in the middle part of the state, which I've even gotten comments from you guys too who have gone there every time they go either up or back on Highway 10 or 127, that they'll stop at the Welcome Center. I need to stop in there at some point, but obviously I can't today because I'm filming this video. But one of these days though, I will need to stop in there just to check it out. I probably won't film it or anything, but I'd be curious what's inside there. So yeah, from where we started this video up until about a mile from here, this is where Highway 10 and 127 run concurrently with each other. And coming up here at this exit, this is where Highway 10 branches off of 127. It continues its way west all the way out to Ludington. So Highway 10 continues as a freeway for like another several miles, and then you get the exit for M115, which M115 will take you up toward Cadillac and eventually up toward like Benzonia, Frankfurt, that area. And Highway 10 obviously continues out to Ludington. But we're not going to be going that way today. We will be staying on 127 north and be taking this all the way to where it ends. Yeah, it is a beautiful morning out. The blue skies, not a single cloud in the sky, and it's not too bad out for Saturday morning. My car thermometer is reading 65 degrees Fahrenheit. If you convert that to Celsius, it's around like 18 degrees. So very, very nice out. And after having a very dry June, we finally had some rain this past week. I think there was like 3 days where we had some pretty good rain. I think one day it was just pretty light, but 2 of the days we had some pretty good thunderstorms, so we're brought down some heavy rain. So it was well needed because things were starting to dry up here, and we have another dry spell coming technically starting yesterday, because it's not forecasted to be any rain anywhere. I think anywhere in Michigan for the next several days. But hopefully it doesn't last 2 to 3 weeks like it did the last time, or that's not going to be good for the agriculture business here in the state of Michigan, because Michigan produces a lot of great cherries up in the Traverse City area, lots of great corn, and the last thing we need is for some of the fresh produce to be lacking, because that's how a lot of our farmers here in Michigan make their business. But yeah, we'll wait and see how things go. But at 127, once you get north of Clare, it starts to get a little bit more scenic, because we start to head up more to the northern parts of lower Michigan. We get to some more wooded and forested areas, and it gets a little hillier too. As you drive up 127 from Lansing, it's like most of the way through the central part of the state between Lansing and Clare, it's mostly flat. You got like a lot of farmland, and it's not as scenic, but once you get up this far, then it becomes a much prettier drive. driven, I don't think I've driven all the way up on 127 to Grayling. Because again, this is not normally the way I go. Since I'm down in the Metro Detroit area, I'm always taking I-75 up. So yeah, again, as I was saying at the beginning of the video, this is not my usual way of heading to the northern part of the state. But because I'm not in a big rush to get up to the Grayling, Hartwood Pines area, today's a perfect day to film this video. And in a couple of weeks from now, I'm going to be heading over to northeastern Wisconsin, and I'll be going up through northern Michigan to get over there. But because I'm going to be getting up there, I don't want to say a time crunch, but I'm going to get up there a little bit quicker. Yeah, so I don't want to wait till then to film this video. Anyway, so yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day today. So I knew I had to get back up to northern Michigan and film some more content. Because in one of my past driving videos, I lamented on the fact that I did not come up to northern Michigan as much as I wanted to. But back to that in a second. Yeah, there's a lot of military vehicles on the other side of the freeway. They gotta be coming from the base that's up near Grayling. So I don't know what branch of the military it is, or if it's the U.S. I think it's the U.S. military, not like the National, or it could be the National Guard. I'm not 100% sure, but I know there's a base or something up near Grayling, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're coming from there. But anyway, I think that was a police officer, an unmarked police officer. Maybe I should probably get back over now. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, going up to back up to. It's like I haven't made enough trips up to northern lower Michigan last year. Like I only went up 2, maybe 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. Because it's like, I'm trying to think. So I went up to Petoskey. It was right before I went to Serbia. And then I went up to Cadillac, and was that it last year? That may not have been that much. Yeah, I keep forgetting that there's a state park near here, Wilson State Park. So yeah. Yeah, I just realized I was getting a little under the speed limit. Let's get back up to the speed limit here. Because, yeah, the speed limit on 127, pretty much, on any of the freeway portions north of Lansing are all 75 miles per hour. It's just the area that's not a freeway, we're at 65. And then you have that exit back there, that's... Let me get back over first. I shouldn't be over the left lane unless I'm passing someone. So yeah, that was the exit for M61, and that's the exit for the city of Harrison. And then if you continue east, that'll take you over to Gladwin, and then eventually ends at Highway 23 in Standish. Anyway, we got 28 miles to go to Houghton Lake, and then 47 miles to Grayling. Although we won't be getting this freeway doesn't go all the way to Grayling. Well, once it merges on with I-75, then it does. But videos. Not even July yet, and I've made more trips to northern Michigan than in previous years, or previous recent years. Because already I did like a long weekend trip up to the Traverse City area. So I did that around Memorial Day weekend, and had like great weather for that. And then I'm doing this adventure today. And then back in January, we went over to the Iowa Springs near the Tawas and Oscoda area. And then technically, I did go to Bay City State Park back in May, and that's starting to get into the northern parts of Michigan, although technically you're kind of still in the central part of the state. So it's like the gateway to northern Michigan. So it's like you could say you could count that, but you could also say that you can't. And then I'll be back up in northern Michigan in a couple of weeks as I head over toward the Green Bay and Door County area of Wisconsin. Because again, I'm going up via the Mackinac Bridge and taking Highway 2 across. Although on my way back, I'm probably going to go through Chicago. Which, yeah, that reminds me, I got to double check my Easy Pass account to make sure I got the proper or the enough funds to go through some of the toll roads that are in Illinois. But yeah, I will say that Easy Pass really came in handy for my trip to New England, or more specifically Massachusetts, back in April. Because until this year, I never had one of those Easy Passes, but I decided to get one, and for what I was hearing from some commenters on my YouTube videos, that I saved a lot of money with getting one. Because yeah, I will say the northeastern part of the United States, there are a lot of toll roads. Where in Michigan, as of right now, there are no toll roads in the state of Michigan, with the exception of the Mackinac Bridge and any of the international crossings. Some of the smaller Michigan towns, and I would like to come back up here in the fall, because I've neglected to do that the past few years. Just because it's like in 2020, yeah, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, all 4 of those years, I always did a trip in October. Because in 2019, I did a long weekend trip to Toronto, although that was just a long weekend, and maybe I did something in northern Michigan after that. I can't remember. I have to look back at my past YouTube videos. And then in 2020, I did a big road trip out to Colorado, Utah, and Arizona. And that took about 2 weeks. So unfortunately, I missed out a lot of the fall colors up in northern Michigan in late 2020. And then in 2021, I did a trip to the Czech Republic. And then when I got back from that, I concentrated my efforts on checking out different cider mills down in southeast Michigan, which is a great fall activity to do in Michigan, by the way. So I can't complain with that. And then 2022, I did a trip to Serbia and to Rome. And when I got back, a lot of the fall color was starting to dwindle away a little bit. So I concentrated my efforts in southern Michigan. That's why I went to areas like to Pinckney Recreation Area, which I had some of the best fall colors I'd ever seen. saying you have to live in the present. Because if you look forward to nothing but the future, you're going to miss out on the present. And you can't lament on things in the past because you'll miss out on the present. But yeah, it's like when it comes to the future, it's like, yeah, a lot of people aspire for some good fortune in the future. Let's say maybe they don't really care for what's going on in the present, like maybe whether it's they lack the income that they make, like they're not making a lot of money, or things are not going well, like maybe like health-wise or in their family. So they're looking for a brighter future. So it's pretty common for us to think about, like, where do we see ourselves 5 years, 10 years from now? Heck, like it's asked by a lot of interviewers when you're applying for a job or applying for a job. It's like they're always asking you, where do you see yourself? So because of that, it's like people are always thinking about the future. What is going to happen? But it's like when it comes to the future, it's like no one knows. And it's not something you can find out by watching The Simpsons, even though it's like there are a few instances where they predicted things correctly, but they can't predict everything correctly. So it's like, and you can't see any crystal ball or something. You can't ask a fortune teller. It's like when every time you hear about those like doomsday prophecies and things like that, where it's like the world is going to end on this and so date or year, it's like they're wrong, because like nobody can predict the future. Because like no one knows. So it's like that's all the reason why I keep living in the present, because you never know what's going to happen. It's like some good things can happen or some bad things can happen, or a mix of both. Like you could be a millionaire in 5 years, or you could be broke in 5 years. Like no one knows. So I'm not trying to scare anybody or anything. I'm going to get back over, and we're leaving Clare County, entering Roscommon County. And as you can tell, we got a lot of forested areas in here. But it's like if you're afraid of the future and thinking that bad things are about to happen, you have to make a contribution to the present, so that way you can make the world a better place today, so that way we have a brighter future. Whether it's for yourself or for your family or for like your network of friends or for mankind. That's another reason why I enjoy making these videos and sharing my content with the world, because like with travel, it's like I'm showing how great this world is, and by it's like because travel, whether it does, you don't have to travel far or anything. You can just go close to home, just go to your park or interact with your local community. It's a way to stop arguing political stuff between your neighbor, and finding ways to get along, even if you don't agree with them on ideologies. It's sad to see how divided people are these days in the United States, when it doesn't have to be like that. It's like, sure, it's like we don't have to agree with each other. Like we could, it's like your neighbor, for example, they could be politically on the left, where you could be politically on the right. Yeah, we have different viewpoints, but at the same time, there's a lot we have in common. It's like we both want to, in the end, we want to have a bright future, and we want to do what's best for our families and our friends and our world. We just have different ways of looking at the issue. So instead of doing nothing but arguing and fighting and things like that, it's like, why not just get along? And it's like we have to learn to coexist with each other. It's like, again, we're not going to agree on share some positivity in the world, like some positive stories. But it's like the sad thing is, it's like I feel like it's all for the money. Because it's like, unfortunately, it's like negative news sells and the positivity stuff doesn't. It's like they want you to, it's like they're trying to draw you in. It's like, that's why it's like, yeah, stop. Like, that's why I keep saying turn off the news. It's like, yeah, maybe get 5 minutes of the headlines and then just go on with your day. Interact with the world. It's like, you'll do yourself a huge favor. So that we can coexist with each other, whether it's going to an event, or it's something as simple as going to the grocery store, like the necessities, like getting food for your family or going to work. I just got a big mug splatter on my left side of the windshield. Thankfully, you can't see it from this GoPro. That's the one downside of doing all these different road trips, is even just day trips, because you get bug splatter, especially in the summertime. I remember the road trip I did out to the Dakotas in August of 2020, and it's like I once I got home from that trip in August, I had to go to one of those self-spraying car washes, and I had to spray so much like dead bugs off the front bumper of my car. It's like, it was disgusting. But it's the unglamorous part of travel. It's like, it's not all posh and beautiful and amazing. Like there's the after effects too, especially with the car. Anyway, it's like I'm getting off topic here, but it's like, yeah, it's like, anyway, it's like you have to live for today and try to help make things better for yourself, whether it's making friends or improving maybe broken friendships. Because, yeah, you never know, things can always happen to where all of a sudden that you might lose a friendship or something, and it's not saying you can repair it overnight or anything, and it may not get repaired, but there's always that possibility. But anyway, so it's like, yeah, trying to live for today, trying to help make the world a better place. Even just doing some things, like it's like, even though you might feel like that, you might feel hopeless if you're trying to make the world a better place, and it's like you're just doing something by yourself, and it seems that it's hopeless because it's like you're trying to achieve something that's beyond your reach. But you have to look at it this way: it starts a major positive movement starts with one person, and that is you. You can be the part of that change. It takes one person to change the world and make things better. Because when one person starts something great, it can spread to other people. That's why it's like, it's great to have like a circle of friends and family. Even though you don't agree with you on everything, they'll at least support you, and they could be like, oh wow, that's a great idea. And then that's how good ideas spreads. Like, it spreads around more and more people, and then it becomes a bigger thing, and then before you know it, you're electing politicians who are agreeing with these positive ideas, and then they eventually get executed. Although it's not perfect, because sometimes politicians can be corrupt, unfortunately, but that's a sad thing. But it's like, you never know unless you try and you make the effort, because it may just work. So it's like, yeah, if it feels hopeless, do it anyway, because if you got dreams and passions that you truly feel passionate about, you gotta pursue them, no matter how hopeless it looks, because we've achieved a lot of amazing things over the years. operations. So it's like you never know unless you try it for yourself. So anyway, so before I get back to that, so this exit here, this is M55. So this is the main exit for Houghton Lake, which Houghton Lake is a very large lake that's located to the east of here. M55 east will take you over toward Houghton Lake, and then eventually hooks back over by I-75, and it continues its way east toward West Branch and ends over in Tawas City. Where M55 west takes you west toward Lake City, then over to Cadillac, and eventually ends in Manistee. So right now we're starting to get in the area where we're going by Houghton Lake, and then further to the north we'll be going by Higgins Lake, which you have a lot of recreation in this part of the area. Road work resumes Monday, so I plan this video and this drive at a very good time. But yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to be going too close to Houghton Lake, so we're not going to really see it from this video. We have 23 miles to go to Grayling, and if we were going all the way up to the Mackinac Bridge, we have another 106 miles to go. Yeah, this is the one stretch of 127 I have not driven on before. Because I've gone, I think, as far north as M55 in the past. Yeah, 127 is the main route people take to go up to northern Michigan from, let's say, the Lansing area, or like Mount Pleasant. Because everybody from the Detroit area or Saginaw Bay City, they're taking I-75 straight up. Although some people in the southwest part of the state could come up this way too, because instead of going up toward Grand Rapids, they might try to work their way over to Lansing and then come up this way. But anyway, getting back to my original topic, it's like, yeah. So again, it's like, yeah, you gotta live in the present. It's like, yeah, I'm not saying to not look for the future at all or think about the future. You should think about that a little bit, because like it'll give you a motivation to pursue your dreams, but don't have that be your sole focus. And at the same time, if you some things you did in the past, you can't lament on the fact, because the past is the past. You can't change the past. Because let's just say, I don't think we're getting any, because I don't think we're that close to having a flux capacitor to have some type of a time machine that'll enable us to go back to 1955 or anything. But let's just say, if someone was to have a flux capacitor ready for something like that, I'd be the first one to go, "Great Scott, let's go back to the past." But yeah, the message of the day is just to live in the present. Again, turn off the media. It's like, do things that are positive to the world, to the community, and to your family, and to yourself. Like, there is a lot of people that are out there who will support you. Because again, like to make a positive contribution to the future, it all starts with you. It takes one person to start something great. And we're already to the northern part of the Houghton Lake area. So we're now passing up Houghton Lake. We just went over the Muskegon River too. Which, yeah, the Muskegon River, obviously with the name, it flows all the way to the southwest toward Muskegon. we're starting to slowly approach the Higgins Lake area. Which Higgins Lake is another large lake, although it's a little smaller compared to Houghton Lake. And what's cool about Higgins Lake is that Higgins Lake, you have two state parks. You got South Higgins Lake State Park, which is accessible from this next exit, and then there's also North Higgins Lake State Park. Which, yeah, I remember going to South Higgins Lake State Park several years ago. Which is a beautiful park. You got some nice trails over there, and then and of course you got a campground, and you have beach access to Higgins Lake. So then, yeah, if you're going to South Higgins Lake State Park, this is your exit, and then you just go east. Just follow the signs. I think we got like several more miles to go in this video. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of trailers going up, so it's like, yeah, we're getting to the time of the year where everybody's doing like a big camping trip. With the big trailer going up at this time, or on a Saturday, they gotta be going up for like the week or 2 weeks or something. Because a lot of people will go camping for just a weekend, but others will make it a week-long thing. Because we're getting the time of the year where people start taking like summer vacations, because this is around the time of the year where kids usually get off from school for the summer. It's like, I remember when I was a kid, I used to really enjoy the summer vacation because it always meant that my parents and I would always go like on some bit of a camping trip. Because we did a lot of those here in Michigan. Like, we camped out in like near the Sleeping Bear Dunes area a few times, which I talked about that in a couple of the driving videos I filmed back when I was over in the Traverse City area 3 weekends ago. State Park 2 or 3 times, and I think we went camping over by Silver Lake too, like over by the Silver Lake Dunes. And there are times too where like our family and I even went up to my oldest sister's ex-husband. There was like a cottage that we always went to, which I think he still owns today. So we used to go up there a few times as well too. And then also when we stopped camping and we were mainly staying like in hotels, like we went up to like St. Ignace to go to Mackinac Island, and we also did a trip over to Marquette and Munising in that area. It's like, yeah, we did a lot of camping trips or like small vacations up in northern Michigan. Because yeah, it's like when I was growing up, it's like my family and I, we did not have a lot of money. So I'd say we were kind of like a working class family, and so it's like we couldn't afford to travel the world. It's like I didn't start traveling the world until I started doing it in the past decade. I treasured those moments though, and then heck, even the 4 years we lived in Texas, we did a couple of camping trips as well too. Which yeah, we went to like, yeah, it was Huntsville State Park, which is north of Houston, and then we went to Lake Somerville State Park, which is between Houston and Austin. And then this exit here is for North Higgins Lake State Park, because we're at the north end of Higgins Lake over here. States because its northern terminus is up here ahead on I-75 south of Grayling, and it goes all the way down to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Which I think that it's like down in the Interstate 26 area, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, not 26, Interstate 24. I could be mixing things up a little bit. It's like there's so many freeways in the United States where it's like I can't memorize them all. If you know exactly every interstate in the country by heart and you know exactly where everything is without looking at a map, I applaud you. So I know a lot of interstates, but it's like I don't know every single one unless I were to look at a map. After I finish this video and I get on I-75, I should have like another several miles to go until I get to the exit for Hartwood Pine State Park, which is just to the north of Grayling. And what's nice about the state park is that it's not far off from the freeway, so I don't have to drive too far away from the freeway to get to the park. But yeah, I filmed the video there several years ago in the fall, or maybe it could have been longer than that, but I want to go up there to refilm it because it's a pine forest. Yeah, sure, yeah, you can get some fall color up there in the fall, but there's still gonna be a lot of green up there because there's a lot of pine trees, so it's a really nice time of the year to go up there, especially get some nice fresh air. It's just a day trip for me today, so I'm gonna be heading back home like later this afternoon, going to the early evening. I will say this has been a nice drive today. And of course, head to the state park for a few hours, and I'll probably take a break at some point because I'm that close to the freeway. I'll probably get some lunch in Grayling. Time at the park, and then eventually head back down to southeast Michigan. I just realized I've not had a sip of water yet in this video. I need to have a sip. Okay, that's a lot better. All right, and you may not be able to see it very well, but I can see the overpass for southbound I-75 up ahead. So as we get up to this bend up ahead, we have now filmed all of Highway 127 north in the state of Michigan. And if you're heading up to the Mackinac Bridge, you basically be continuing the rest of the way on I-75. So I'm going to slowly start to conclude the video here because we have reached the northern end of Highway 127. So I hope you enjoyed this video here on Highway 127 North, going from Highway 10 in Clare, Michigan, all the way to I-75 just south of Grayling. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click that subscribe button to come along and join me for the adventure. And don't forget to click that notification bell so that way you know when a new video goes live. Well, thank you for watching, and this is Scott, or the Scottman895 here from just south of